welcome to Gulfstream today, and welcome to beautiful Gulfstream Park. It's Ron Nicoletti, Acacia Courtney, starting the day with a good main track and a good turf course. I've been dodging raindrops around here for the last couple of days, but the turf course, watched those races yesterday. It looked fine to me. You know, this turf course certainly can use some moisture, and today, partly cloudy skies, but I think we're going to have a good day. In the main track, like I said, if it doesn't rain, Acacia, it will be fast in a while.
Yeah, and I like I said, still listed as good right now, but keep an eye on it throughout the day, especially when you're doing with Rainbow Six. We're starting fresh with the Rainbow Six a little bit later today. And another important thing to know, hopefully you've done your homework, because today is Beat the Expert Day. If you pick more winners on the card than I do, all of my picks are in. You'll see our top three, but it only counts your top selection, so you can go over there and submit it. Use hashtag Beat the Expert to let us know you're playing. And if you pick more winners than I do, you'll have a chance to win one of those awesome polo shirts. And I keep saying, plus the bragging rights.
Bragging rights. The polo shirt actually said Beat the Expert on the sleeve, so you get to walk around here and make sure, if you do win one, to come and show Acacia your shirt. So yeah, rub the elbow right there, whatever, the sleeve right there, so you see it. So as we mentioned, we got a good main track, a good turf course today, and let's see our wagering menu. We're going to start it off with the rolling super high five, and we actually have a carryover in there to start the day, a little over $1,600. And as we always tell you, there's a carryover in there. You got to pay attention. Sometimes they really send it in. We also got the first of two pick five starting in race one. Acacia will have her ticket in just a couple of moments. And as you mentioned, the Rainbow Six hit once again yesterday, so we're starting anew in race number 3. It's the final 6 races on the card, a 20-cent wager, and we end the day with our final pick 5, and with the 8 race card, it's the last 5 races on the card. So we got 8 races we're going to talk about real quickly before we get going. Want to mention tomorrow, of course, a Belmont Stakes Day. Got a nice day happening here. We're going to open up Silks at 10:30 in the morning, so make your plans to be here. And if you do win that contest, make sure you stop by here. We'll be out here a little earlier, so in case you can see that the person that might have beat her. I'm not saying they will.
Yes, we'll see what happens, and bring it on, as I keep saying. It's all good fun, and you could have a chance to win some cool stuff.
Race number 1 today, 1 mile and 1/16th on that good turf course. Maiden claim is 3 and up. $35,000. Clean slate today. Only got 1 scratch on the whole card today, so we don't have to deal too much with it. That never happens, so it's really good today. And I started off with the number 7. Here comes the boom. Did you use that one on your pick 5 ticket?
I did. That's my top selection. We'll give you a quick peek at my early pick 5 ticket. And I thought that this whole day was very wide open. There were some horses that seemed like to be an obvious winner, but I couldn't find a single in either of my pick 5 tickets. $48 for this one. I did go too deep, including that number 7. Here comes Da Boom.
Yeah, and we have 3 two-year-old races on the card today, and they are some fun races, but hard to just zero it in on one horse in one of those races. So, you know, you got to go a little deeper in those, you know, first-time starters. Don't know how the races are going to play out. Now, let's talk about the number 7. Here comes the boom. Drop into this level, $25,000. Showed a fondness for the turf last time out. Went stalking the pace, finishing 5th. That was a pair of maiden special weight races up at Tampa. Kathleen O'Connell spots her horses where they do well. Eddie Castro will be in the saddle today, so I just thought the local debut at this $25,000 level looks like a logical choice here.
I agree, and this horse actually debuted in maiden claiming company and then stepped up to a pair of maiden special weight races, as you mentioned, and I thought ran very respectably in both of those, in both of those companies over at Tampa. Coming over now, so going back into maiden claiming, but I agree, I think that this is exactly the spot where this horse will be able to win. Kathleen's horses always look fit and ready to run. Also, that last start was on a turf track that was labeled good, like we have today. Finished 5th, but was beaten just by 4 1/4 lengths, and as I said, I thought it was a very respectable performance, so a little bit of moisture in the track shouldn't bother Here Comes Da Boom at all.
Well, you have the morning line favorite in second, and that's number 4, Clearly a Demon, a horse that I did not use on my ticket. I want to hear why you did.
Well, this one's going back over to the turf, and the last start was on the dirt, and I thought actually one of the more impressive finishes for this horse. The kind of numbers that he's been keeping was running up against $35,000 claimers, 2 back, finished 4th, had to be really wide throughout that entire start. If you watch that race back, just didn't really get a chance to run, was kind of stuck in the middle the whole time, and then switched over to the dirt. Sometimes that just sharpen horses up a little bit when they switch surfaces, and this horse has been working nicely since that dirt start, ready to come back over to the turf. Luca Paniccio, say aboard. board.
I had some interest in the number 3. I actually put him in my second spot behind that 7. You Are Flatter. This one is dropping to the $35,000 level, stretching out to a mile in the 16th. Had some trouble in that race. Lacked room at the 3/8 pole. Still managed to finish second. Was 36-1 that day. That was against $50,000 maidens at the same distance. Jaime Mejia is the trainer, and he has a 7-pound apprentice, Alvaro Doniz, in the saddle this afternoon. Just thought that was a pretty good performance. Actually, second choice in the morning line. I don't know if that'll be the case when the smoke clears in here. I think this horse might be a little higher than that, but certainly one I was going to use on my ticket. And we both used the number 1, Jacala.
Yeah, I opted to go towards this one to round out my top 3 instead of using the 3, You Are Flatter, who's often up there in the action, but has been bouncing around with different levels and hasn't really been able to fare that well. He had that nice performance last time out. This horse from the rail, Jacala, is a little bit of a gamble because he's only had 1 start so far. Finished 5th at a mile in his debut against $50,000 Maiden Claiming Company. Been working pretty steadily, a $135,000 son of Victor's Cry. So could be a little bit of an interesting one from the rail.
Yeah, and trained by Angel Pena Jr., ridden today by Cornelio Velasquez. And I thought that debut was a useful 5th place finish at the $50,000 level. Looks like they're searching to find this horse's proper level.
Right.
So a horse that we both used on our ticket. Second race today, we're going to the main track. And as we mentioned at the top of the show, the main track listed as good today. 6.5 furlongs, claim is 3 and up. Non-winners of 2 races in lifetime or 3-year-olds, $16,000. And we both have the number 2, Nuke, on top of our ticket.
Yes, I'm imagining that the number 4, Caropano, is going to take a lot of money coming off 2 victories back to back. But I went with the number 2, Nuke, and I want to use a video of his last race to show why I put this horse on top. It had to be checked back sharply. This video is back from May 27th. He's the number 3 horse here. This was against $30,000 claimers and ended up finishing 5th in this race. It looked like he was moving okay, sitting nicely next to behind the leader throughout the whole first part of the race. And you see it here as he's coming around. He ends up having to just be checked back, and he gets squeezed back, and then that was it. He's not able to really, you see there, the jockey kind of pulls back on him. He drifts out a bit. Didn't really do much running from then on. He tried to find another spot and to re-break and re-rally, but just wasn't able to after having to check back.
Yeah, I mean, I put it on the horse on the ticket for the same exact thing. I thought he was making a really good move when he, had to check pretty sharply out of that thing and then go to the outside. Never really got, restarted again, for lack of a better term. You mentioned the 4 horse who we both use in second. That's Caropano. This one is stepping up the competition after responding to the addition of Lasix with back-to-back victories. Not only victories, open-length victories, but it was at the $10,000 and $6,250 levels, respectively. So taking a little jump up, but looks like Lasix has really helped this horse.
I think that that's really the key there, too, because this horse was keeping some decent form prior to that, had 1 victory, but then moved over from the turf and tried a couple of turf starts, moved back over to the dirt, and dropped in class to that 6250 level, added the Lasix, was able to get a win, stepped up to the 10,000 last time, won by 6 3/4, and they're trying to step up again a little bit now to the 16,000 and keep that going. But I do think he might be a little bit of a vulnerable favorite, but wouldn't be surprised to see him make a good run.
And you close it out with the 6, Valid Dude, who is a 3rd choice on the line.
I did. First off the claim, moving over into the barn of Larry Bates, won by 4, showing some early speed last time out ahead of next out winner Cora Crevi team, so I thought a bit of a key race.
I went to the inside with Bucate, and this one is dropping to the $16,000 level, stretching out to 6.5, finishing, I thought, a workman-like 4th in the pair of 6 furlong condition claimers. That was at the $30,000 to $25,000 level. Peter Walder is the trainer. MCL Jaramillo handling the class relief this afternoon. I think the drop is going to help this horse, and I believe he's on the board, as the 4th choice or something like that. Hard to leave Peter Walder out when you're putting one of those, multiple wager tickets together. So we'll see how that race 2 plays out. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back for race 3, we'll let you know about the Rainbow 6. Welcome back. race number 3, a 5-furlong maiden special weight event for state-bred 2-year-olds. This is one of the great races we were talking about that we have on the card today. 3 of our 8 races are for 2-year-olds, and we have the Rainbow Six starting here. Let's show you quickly my ticket, and you will see it here. 3 deep, 4 deep, 2, singling the number 7 in race number 6, and that's pay any price, and this one's not going to pay a big price if it wins. 3 deep, $43.20, and as we mentioned, starting anew today. How did you see this race?
Well, this was one of the ones that I went 4 deep in my early pick 5 ticket, and we have the same 3 horses have our exacta flip-flop, but this one really seemed to be one of the fun, as you said, a lot of first-time starters in here. There's a couple of horses actually with experience. I went with the number 4 Wait, Dan was a multiple graded stakes winner. Wait a while, of course, we're familiar with that horse. Also, just based on breeding, some consistent works. This is 5 furlongs on the dirt for the state breds, and I thought that this horse had been working at the 5 furlongs, which is something that I like to see, having a little bit more distance works.
And he's a full brother to an undefeated Spitzer. Didn't have many starts, a couple of starts. The horse was called Zykov, who was a really, really fast horse. So this horse is certainly bred to win early. And Zykov, as I mentioned, a very impressive runner in there. And Lasix today, Elvis Trio. But I went with the 5 Sherpa on top of my ticket. You have in second, and I'll show you why. Of course, when they're 2-year-olds making their first start, sometime at the gate, there's a little trouble. So let's go back and show you the start of Sherpa's last race, and it'll come up right now, the 5 horse today, and decides to maybe go see what's happening in the lake over there, and just goes and takes a little look there. Now, so the horse, I wanted to show that, but what I liked about this horse, you see the 5 right there, comes running pretty nicely after that, beginning, and it was no one's fault but its own when it broke that way, but I just thought this horse closed well, got that previous experience. If this one's comes out of the gate trouble-free, can be very dangerous in there. Third choice on the morning line, so.
Yeah, he decided he'd like to take a little bit of a swim instead of run a race. But even still, when he had to put the pedal to the metal and actually run the race, I thought that he did so pretty well for
I just wanted to show that there, and that happens all the time with 2-year-olds. We both used the number 3, Mugsomatic.
This one for Kathleen O'Connell. Eduardo Nunez is going to be aboard once again. This one had 1 start so far. It came out of a race where Draft Beer was second. Draft Beer went on to win that race that we just showed that Sherpa ran in. So had a next out winner there. The winner that day was a runaway winner, won by more than 7 lengths, Francesco Appeal. Had to be wide throughout the first start, but I thought it was a very beneficial first start for Mugsomatic. That is a real learning experience, and we say all the time how good Kathleen's horses looks, especially and the younger ones.
Not only did Draft Bear come out and win the race, also a horse called Little Nappy came back to win his next start. So coming out of a key race where 2 of the horses won, and Kathleen O'Connell, about 25% with maidens making their second start, and she's does exceptionally well with our 2-year-old runners here. So a nice horse to put on your ticket there. But love those 2-year-old races. Yeah. And if you have a chance to go deeper or you got another angle, feel free when you're starting your Rainbow Six ticket. Let's go to race number 4 this afternoon. 7.5 furlongs on the turf. 3-year-olds and upward, non-winners of 2 in life or 3-year-olds. The claiming level is $30,000 down to $25,000. 1 jockey change in here on the 4, our Cat Daddy, to Christian Navarro, the apprentice Christian Navarro, and Lane Leslie, a little bit of a hard luck yesterday, took a spill, and I think had some trouble with his collarbone.
Yes, we've heard per his agent Walter Blum that Lane Leslie has broken his collarbone, be out for a while, so of course sending good thoughts to him, and thankful that it wasn't worse with that spill yesterday.
Well, we both started off in here with the number 4, our Cat Daddy, but let's show your late pick 5 ticket.
Yes, give you a glimpse at my late pick 5 ticket. Starts in race number 4. Again, I wasn't able to find a single, kept it $48 once again. I went 4 deep, you'll see in race number 7. That's another one of those maiden special weight races for the younger horses, so keep it a little bit wide open for that, give you a little bit more flexibility, and then 2 deep in a couple of the other races and 3 right here.
Well, as I mentioned, we both started with the number 4, our Cat Daddy, who's stepping up to face win his first start since drawing clear to defeat $25,000 maidens. That was going 7.5 furlongs on the turf here. It was back on April 9th. Ralph Zadie has this gelded son of Montbrook training sharply over at Gulfstream Park West. So I just thought of that performance. This horse would run well, and I believe he's a square price on the morning line, too.
He is. He's 8-1 on the morning line. I'm not sure if he's actually going to go off at that. People might take notice, but this was a horse. It was my value play for the day, especially based off that morning line price. Excuse me. Moved back over to the Zadie barn last time and tried the turf for the first time. Had a very nice victory. Went off as the favorite. Coming off about a 2-month freshening. Now, that was April 2nd, but as you said, working really, really well over at Gulfstream Park West, and that was the big key for me.
And I know we both have the exact trifecta here with both the number 7, Whites of Their Eyes, and Veya.
Yes, and I want to go back actually and show the last race that includes both of these horses. This was back on May 20th, and it has Veya as the number 5, and Whites of Their Eyes is the number 6. You see them there. Veya actually went off at even money, and this is the stretch right before the finish, so you'll be able to see a little bit of what happens here. It's just literally like all of the horses at once go running and try to find out if they can make it to the finish line first. The 6 horse is there kind of in the middle of the track as the 4 is moving on the outside. Veya, the 5, is along the rail, moving nicely. It looked like Veya was going to re-break and rally to come on through. It was a tight photo finish, really close for 2nd and 3rd and 4th. So Veya ended up finishing 4th in that race, but only beaten by a length and a quarter, while Whites of Their Eyes ended up finishing 2nd. Now, the important thing to note for that is that I think that they were both pretty equal in that race.
Yeah, they were pretty equal, in Whites of Their Eyes, the number 7 today, is now listed as a gelding, and he's, I think, sitting on a big performance after what we just showed you. Return. That was after a 2-month layoff, so he has license to improve this afternoon. He was beating a length, as we just showed you, at this level of distance, and Veya, too.
Yes, and one thing to note, too, the Veya seemed to be a little bit of more of a question mark for me, because it's going back to the 7.5 furlongs, 0 for 10 on the Gulfstream Park turf course, and 0 for 10 at this distance. So that's just something to keep in mind as well.
Yeah, and also he's had 27 races with only that 1 win, 4 seconds and 4 thirds. So he's horse that I decided to put on the bottom of the ticket along with you. So that is how we see race number 4. Race number 5 this afternoon. Another one of these fantastic 2-year-old races. 5 furlongs, maiden special weight fillies, 2-year-olds. Once again, no scratches or jockey changes to report. And both of us have number 5, Threat, on top of our ticket, who's a daughter of Win Early sire Cantharos.
Yes, then give you a little stat on Cantharos. For 2-year-olds in maiden special weight, average is about 21% winners, which is pretty big. And one of the other interesting things about this is that this stat actually applies to 3 horses in this 8-race field. The 5 Threat, who we both have on top, the 7 Sierra Love, and the 8 Cajun Delta Dawn, who we both used as well.
Right, so Cantharos, and then when you spot that, they had a great freshman year, backed it up in its 2nd season. So all these horses that run down here, Florida breds, sons and daughters of Cantharos, run exceptionally well. But Threat is a daughter, as we mentioned, of Cantharos, debuting for Ronnie Werner. He's been having a great meet. Really solid work, Merck showing over this surface. So gets Lasix, MSCL Jaramillo.
Another one doing some 5 furlongs work. The dam was a stakes winner as well. And then I used the number 8 Cajun Delta Dawn in 2nd. Here's another one by Cantharos. You used this horse in 3rd. Half to a stakes winner named Mom's Laugh. David Fox has been doing very well, especially with some of his first-time starters as well.
Yeah, Mom's Laugh won the Sunshine Millions distaff right here. So good breeding, and David Fox, the trainer. And then we flip-flop our 2 other horses there with the number 6. Got a nice breeze just then, right then. With Joyful Noise is the daughter of He and the Weevil, debuting for trainer Mark Cassie. A couple of useful half-mile works showing. It's a 2-year-old. He's going to get Lasix, Elvis Trujillo. So a Threat. We both have on top of my tickets, but boy, if you can go deeper there, that might be the spot.
This was a very wide open race. I did actually also in my pick 5 ticket throw in the number 7 Sierra Love, who's also by Cantharos. So maybe it'd be a Cantharos trifecta or something of the sort.
We got the Cantharos angle going very big in race number 6, the 5. This is race number 6, who I like the 7. That's why I got carried away there. 6 furlong starter optional claimer, 3-year-olds, and up $10,000. Scratch number 2, Pass Key. And if you look up your thoroughbred handicapping guide on the Handicapping 101, this is the horse that you sort of got to have on top of your ticket. That's the number 7, Pay Any Price.
Yeah, Pay Any Price, as you said, probably won't pay much of a price, but certainly has the speed. Came off of nearly a 2-year layoff and has 3 open length wins victories since then. This will be the 3rd start in the Angel Rodriguez barn. Taking a slight drop now, ran against $25,000 optional claimers last time out, but won by 5 3/4, 1 by 3, 1 by 6, and he just seems to keep on winning.
Yeah, he's going back to the dirt today. He's won on the dirt. He's going back after those 2 scores. They won by combined, whatever it was, 8 3/4 lengths, and certainly looks like the one to beat near Angel Rodriguez, Matthew Rispoli. It seems that we had these connections yesterday with a horse that could not lose and got nipped at the wire.
Yeah.
So always take that into the consideration, but surely on paper, this looks like the one to beat. And we both used the number 5, Prague, in second.
Yeah, this horse had another really impressive victory last time out. Finished ahead of Good Boy Charlie, who's the 3 who I put in third here. This horse won by 6.5 lengths that day. Now first off the claim, moving over into the barn of Aubrey Mirage, but has just been pretty consistent too. Tried the turf once, and that was a no-go, but all of the dirt starts recently have been right up there.
Yeah, I closed it out with the 4, Harry He, was stepping up, stretching out. He returned from the layoff. He defeated 6,250 claimers going 5.5 furlongs. I think he sits the trip behind the speed. I think he may be able to grab a share.
Yeah, and I could definitely see that from him sitting behind the speed. The horse that I went with was one that I had kind of bargained on doing a similar type of thing, and that's Good Boy Charlie, who I mentioned came off of about a 4-month layoff last time out and finished second behind that runaway winner Prague. Might be able to improve off of that.
Once again, the only scratch on the day in race number 6, number 2, Pass Key. Race number 7 this afternoon. Here we go again with these great 2-year-old races. Sound like a broken record today, but I'm loving it. 5 furlongs, maiden special weight, 2-year-olds, 7 runners in the field. You went with the number 2, and that is Home Boy Caden.
Yeah, I went based on the works for this one primarily. This one has been working really consistently. June 4th went 3 furlongs and 35 and 3, had 4 furlongs and 47 and 2 prior to that. Really consistent, really sharp work. Shows they might have quite a bit of speed coming from closer to the rail as well.
Well, I'm glad you used a 4 somewhere in your ticket. He's the one because he's 15-1 on the morning line. I'll tell you about this horse who broke from the last time he broke from the always adventurous inside post. He ended up finishing a 4-wide 4th in the race. This race has already produced a pair of next out winners. He's training sharply for the stretch out today. I mean, he got pretty soundly in there, but I just thought, breaking on the rail, he had to make the move to the outside. If you go back and look at this race, you're not going to be enamored with his finish, but I just thought maybe a shot, with that past experience, previous experience, always tough to break from the rail. Maybe a horse you want to add on your ticket, and that's exactly what you did.
Yeah, and I thought he could be a good long shot play as well. He also came out of that same race. We were talking about Mug's-O-Matic earlier, so here's a little bit of homework again to see how Mug's-O-Matic goes after that beneficial first start performance. So could be one that he's the one might be coming out of that same race and learning from that as well.
And the horse you used in second was the 3, and that is 3 Rules.
3 Rules for Jose Pinchin. Cornelio Velasquez is going to be aboard. Another one with just some really sharps. Just all of the works on the tab have been really impressive. A 2-year-old by Gone Astray.
I used the 7 Guinevere, and this one is a son of Dialed In, debuting for a trainer Antonio Sano with 3 solid Gulfstream Park West workout show. Includes a half-mile bullet. That one in 49 flat. Colt gets Lasix. Jesus Rios at the controls. 49 flat is a little slow for here, but over at Calder, it's a deeper track. Right. It's a pretty nice work. So this horse, one you might want to look at, and there's 6-1 on the morning line.
Absolutely, and this is actually only the second foal by Dialed In. The first one was a winner, so we'll see if Dialed In can keep his good record going.
Race number 8 this afternoon is a 5 furlong turf event. Claimers 3 and up, non-winners of 2 in life. And we do have a jockey change in the number 9, Make the Rider Miguel Vasquez, and that is waive the apprentice allowance. The weight will be 116 pounds. And I started it off in here with number 6, Time Out of Mind, and I want to go back and show you a performance of this horse, Time Out of Mind. You're going to see the start of this race here with the number 4 this day. You're going to see this horse, just drifts in really sharply at the start. There you see it there. You could have thought maybe this horse would have been taken down, but he wasn't. But we're going to fast forward and now show you the 8 pole. I thought this horse ran exceptionally well, and was right there at the wire. More importantly, it was its first race in 13 months.
Yeah, and showed quite a bit of speed as well, which I think is certainly something to keep in mind. It finished 3rd after all of that. Greg Rulesda and Swag Bag, who've been some hard knockers around here. I give you a stat on Wesley Ward in the past 5 years. A second off the layoff with horses running in the sprints. 76 for 275, about 28% win, but in the money 58% of the time. Nearly an equal ROI with $1.93, but we talk about this all the time, how frequently and heavily Wesley Ward horses end up getting bit. It's not uncommon to see a horse coming from his barn with a long layoff like that, and they do normally improve after.
Yeah, and you know, I was more impressed with the way he ran after that long layoff, and I just thought with that trouble at the start, caused his own trouble there. We got our exacta flip-flop. You went with the 3 Canarsie Kid on top of your ticket.
Taking a little bit of a slight drop. This one has some early speed as well. 1 by 7 lengths as the favorite last time out, and seemed like he was due. He finished second to back off of about a 10-month layoff. There are some gaps in his races as well, but now he's got his 3rd one back off of the layoff. He's been going pretty consistently. They said finished second by just a neck to back, and then 1 by 7 last time out. And so going back into the 10,000, Cornelio Velasquez is going to climb aboard.
Yeah, and they knew about this horse last time out. He went off as the odds-on choice that they trained by Carlo Vacareza. So an absolute logical choice to be on the ticket. You closed it out with the number 8 in here, Curlin's Gem.
Curlin's Gem is has not been showing too much lately, but he's going to go back over to the turf. His only turf start came back in July of 2014 up at Woodbines. I don't think it's really much to go off as far as turf. Sired by Curlin, that's about 17% with 3-year-olds on the turf, so pretty solid. The big thing for me, he's cutting back in distance as well, cutting down in class a bit, and a first-time gelding.
I'm going to go with the number 5 horse in here, Radamel, who was setting the pace before having to check during the stretch run. He finished 5th that day. He was placed 4th via the steward's decision, and I think he's going to be in the first flight again, playing Catch Me If You Can, and maybe they won't. So number 5 horse, Radamel, up there. I don't know, 12 to 1 on the morning line, a speed play, and guess who's on board? Our leading rider, MCL Jaramillo, so a horse you might want to go back and revisit. If you have a chance to go to one of our video machines, take a look at it, or if you can do it online, then maybe you throw that one on your rolling super high 5 ticket. So we're going to close it out. You're going to beat the expert today?
Yeah, you got to try. You got to be in it to win it, right? So make sure you go on over there and get your winners today.
How did I get it?
Well, you can go to facebook.com/Gulfstream Park, and you enter all of your winners for the 8 races today. If you pick more winners than I do, you have the opportunity to get one of those polo shirts.
You only got 33 minutes to do it, so good luck.
What do I love about horse racing?